The voice has lived with me my entire life. As far back as I can remember, it has been a part of me since birth. Only my mother and the doctors know about it. It has tormented me my entire life, being the source of my constant migraines. I hate it, and no medicine has ever helped my condition. In fact, they only make it worse. As a child, my mother did everything she could to hide it from my classmates so I wouldn't be bullied. I was the quiet kid, never speaking to anyone, and no one spoke to me. I've always been a loner, with the voice assuring me that we didn't need anyone but each other. It speaks in a deep, soothing tone that could calm me if it weren't so malicious. The voice constantly demanded to be fed. It could taste but couldn't feel. Its only form of worldly contact was through food. Its favorite was meat, red meat, to be exact. It would beg for food at all times of the day, like a prisoner of my mind pleading to be free from its eternal chamber of nothingness. When it wasn't hungry, it would torment me endlessly, calling me weak and useless, telling me that I was wasting the life I had been given. It often claimed that if it had been blessed with this body instead of me, it would accomplish far more. I tried not to let its words get to me, but to be honest, they did. Many nights I cried myself to sleep, believing the voice's vile assertions. The voice often taunted me, claiming that we were inseparable and that we needed each other, calling me its brother. I would mutter through sobs, begging it to leave me alone, but it would only intensify the pain. The headaches worsened the hungrier it got, and it tortured me to get what it wanted. I could feel a numb, stinging pressure on my brain whenever it wanted to hurt me. All I wanted was for it to stop, to leave me alone, to get out of my life. But the voice had no intention of leaving. It persisted, demanding to be fed, and I knew what came next. It screamed at me, its voice filling my head with unbearable pain, until I finally gave in. I would go to the refrigerator, massaging my temples, and find some ground beef to appease it. But even then, it would sometimes refuse, demanding something fresh instead. This time was different. The voice didn't want the cold meat, it wanted something fresh. It knew how much I hated it when it yelled, and it used that knowledge to control me. My pain was its leash on me, and it hurt me to get what it wanted. In agony, I agreed to get it whatever it desired, just to make the pain stop. I found an alley cat late at night, luring it over with ground beef. I picked it up carefully, tears rolling down my face as I apologized to the trusting creature. But the voice urged me on, and I swung the cat against the pavement, its final yowl ringing in my ears. The cat wasn't dead immediately, it was in pain, and I had to strike it again. The sound of its skull cracking, the sight of blood and pink brain matter spilling out, made me vomit and cry uncontrollably. I was horrified by what I had done, knowing that the voice now had full control over me. The voice calmly instructed me to feed it, and I obeyed, the sound of bones cracking reverberating in my head as I chewed and devoured the dead cat. The headache was gone, but I felt no relief, only dread. This cat had paid for my brief respite, and I knew that every night I would be forced to do the same, finding animals to kill whenever the voice demanded it. One night, however, the voice told me that these animals were no longer enough. I had just finished snapping a bird's neck when it rejected the offering, screaming at me that it wanted something more. The pain shot through my skull like a bullet, and I was at its mercy. It threatened me, promising that my life would be a living hell until it got what it wanted. The next day, I was drowsy and exhausted, my eyes swollen from crying all night. The voice kept my headache at bay so long as I followed its plan. I was broken, years of torment and agony had led me to this point. Disguised in a hat, sunglasses, and a face mask, I drove into town, almost falling asleep at the wheel. The voice would startle me awake, keeping me on course. At the local shopping mall, I found my target, a little boy whose mother was too busy shopping to pay attention to him. I lured him away, promising him ice cream, and no one questioned us as we walked out of the mall together. My heart raced as I received an Amber Alert on my phone, describing the boy I had just abducted. I felt lightheaded, wanting to take the boy back to his worried mother, but the voice wouldn't allow it. At home, the boy asked for more ice cream, but the voice screamed at me, reminding me of the plan. I handed the boy an ice pop and told him to watch cartoons, trying to calm myself as the voice continued to torment me. The pain became unbearable, and I knew I had no choice but to obey. I picked up a kitchen knife, tears streaming down my face as I approached the boy from behind the couch. He clutched a pillow in fear, knowing something was wrong but too scared to move. I brought the knife down into the boy's chest, piercing his lung. He didn't even have time to scream, only gasping for air as blood foamed out of his mouth. I couldn't bear to watch as he died, turning away and sobbing uncontrollably. The voice, however, was pleased, instructing me to feed it. My headache was completely gone for the first time in my life, and I felt a sickening sense of relief. I couldn't believe what I had done, but the voice had kept its promise. The pain was gone. In a twisted sense of euphoria, I continued to obey, knowing that I was beyond redemption. I began to feed the voice, sawing off the boy's hand and offering it to the back of my head where the voice resided. I could feel the bones crunching as the voice devoured the flesh, the sensation reverberating painfully through my skull. But I was finally free of the pain that had plagued me my entire life. As I continued to feed the voice, I knew that this was my new reality. My psyche was completely broken, and I had given in to the voice's will. I could finally live a life without pain, even if it meant being bound to the voice forever.